Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints opened up OTAs on Wednesday. Here was Dennis Allen recapping the first day.
Look, I thought a really good first day of practice. Certainly we're not going to jump to any conclusions right now, but I thought there were some good things I saw. I thought good competition between the offense and defense. I was pleased, but obviously we'll get in and watch the tape, and I'm sure there's a ton of corrections that we got to make.
Listen, OTAs are always a bit of a mixed bag. We're very excited when OTAs roll around because you get beyond rookie minicamp, which is just the rookies, then certain veteran players and tryout players, to OTAs, which are voluntary, but for the most part, you have really good participation in OTAs. It's the first time to see the team as it's going to look on the field. So we get excited, but it's also very difficult to discern much. This is a lot of glorified walkthrough, just getting people used to terminology, the coaches, roster, working together, because you're always going to have turnover. And none bigger than on the offensive line. We've talked about it all offseason. Ryan Ramczyk could possibly have played his final snap in the NFL. Andrus Peat, after being a 2014 draft pick of the New Orleans Saints, is now a Raider. James Hurst is retired. You are looking at an offensive line where, as Dennis Allen pretty plainly said it, like, you got two guys right now. And this is something that all on the pre-draft and even after the draft, I've said this over and over and over again. You got two guys on the offensive line you feel good about. Eric McCoy at center and Cesar Ruiz at guard. And while I'm Cesar Ruiz, everything else is a hope and a prayer. You can hope for Trevor Penning. You can hope Fuanga's ready to go. You can hope some of you can hope Saldivari takes a step. You can hope the free agents that you signed are ready to be starters and can be great players. But none of that is a certainty. And Dennis Allen knows it.
I'd say we have two positions on our offensive line that we feel like we've got guys that are healthy and they're kind of entrenched in those positions. I think Cesar Ruiz, we feel good about where he's at, and yet he still has to improve. I think Eric McCoy probably had his best season last year. Those are two positions that I feel like we feel pretty confident of exactly where we're at in those positions. The other three positions, we're not sure yet. Whether it's young players, whether it's due to Ramczyk's injury, some guys that we signed in free agency that aren't out here yet. So I'd say all of those other three positions, we're going to work extremely hard throughout OTAs and into training camp to figure out who's going to be in those spots.
Notice he said some of the free agents we signed who are not out here yet. That's an important footnote because I do think some of those guys are going to factor in very heavily for how these position battles are going to play out once you get into camp. We talked about it last week when they signed Lucas Patrick. I'm very bullish on Lucas Patrick as an interior lineman. Now, because of a guy like Nick Saldivari, who was a fourth-round draft pick, it might be hard to win a backup job on the interior. But if you can play center and both guard positions, then you're going to be more inclined to make the team as a veteran player. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get there. And in talking about this up until this point, I've really buried the lead. Because the lead is that the Saints went out there for OTAs, and Taliese Fuanga started at left tackle, and Trevor Penning started at right tackle. Of course, Penning in college was a left tackle. He played left tackle last year as he was trying to get his sea legs under him coming back from the injury. After the first few games of the season, it was very clear that was not working, and he became essentially nothing more than a glorified tackle-eligible extra blocker. And this is a former first-round pick, as we all know. So not only are you working Penning back in as a start, but you're switching sides of the line on him here. This was Dennis Allen asked why they decided to move Penning to the right side.
I think one of the reasons why you look at potentially putting him over on the right side, it's a totally clean slate. It's a different position. It's a different coaching staff. It's a different scheme. And it's really hey, we're starting over here. We're starting new. And so I'm excited about it. I think it could be something good for him. And look, we haven't set anything in stone. We're going to evaluate how everything goes. And ultimately, our job is to get the best five out there come opening day.
I can respect and appreciate that. Because here's one thing. I feel like we know Trevor Penning isn't going to be a left tackle in the NFL. Right. There's always the possibility you could get better and it could happen. But I feel like we know that. And Dennis Allen is essentially conceding that. You can continue to try to force that issue. But the more this goes along, the more it feels like the New Orleans Saints drafted Taliesin Fuanga with an eye on him being their left tackle, not a right tackle. We all saw him play right tackle at Oregon State. But we had Jim Mahalchek, his offensive line coach at Oregon State, on this show. And he told us point blank, the only reason Tali didn't play left tackle is because they had a veteran entrenched. It was like, don't mess with a good thing if it's working. But he told us they repped Taliesin Fuanga at left tackle in spring and in practices. Like, if something happened to the left tackle, he was going to kick over and play left. So fully believes Fuanga could be a left tackle. And remember, Jim Mahalchek had also coached in the NFL before. So the more and remember, after they drafted him, Mickey Loomis even said he's a tackle. There wasn't we'll see how it goes, maybe kicks inside. He's a tackle. Not a right tackle, a tackle. I think this was always their aim, was to say, let's make Taliesin Fuanga our left tackle, see if we can give Penning a clean slate on the right side. If it doesn't work out, left guard, and that would be his home. One more about, this is one about Fuanga, where Dennis Allen was asked if Fuanga is entrenched on the left side.
Well, I think we like some of the things that we saw. I think we want to evaluate it a little bit more. I wouldn't say anything's permanent, but I think we like that direction, and then we'll see how it goes.
Of course, nothing's permanent. If that were the case, you would have said the same thing with Trevor Penning, and now entering year 3, he's in a completely different spot. But I'll remind you of this as well. And I have a feeling I'm going to end up playing this a lot this offseason. Muse is laughing already. He knows me well. When John Stinchcomb was here, this was so enlightening to me because there are so many parallels to John Stinchcomb's, the start of his career, and the start of Trevor Penning's career. Stinchcomb was a very high draft pick. He was number 37 overall. He was a high second-round pick back in 2003. And he only played in like 3 games as a rookie. He just wasn't ready. And then he got injured, and then the light bulb came on, and he ended up becoming a really good right tackle, was a Pro Bowler, and a Super Bowl winning right tackle for you. He was awesome. And I asked Stinchcomb about that, the difference in right and left tackle. Listen to what he said.
There is a transition. There is a muscle memory element to how you feel and how you set. But with that said, it just comes with reps and time. I think the bigger jump is from tackle to the inside position rather than from right to left. So much is made about the left tackle being the premier position, as if right tackle doesn't face the exact same personnel. The plays are still the same. The old adage that you're protecting your quarterback's blind side is a little bit of garbage because it's field side and tight side. So if a quarterback is on the right hash, then most of the reads are to his left, which means the back of his helmet is facing the right side. So I don't think it's as big of a difference between the ask of what you are demanding of your left tackle from your right tackle.
By the way, Micah Parsons with the Cowboys plays left defensive end going against a right tackle. That's really tough. So I love that perspective from Stinch, but keep in mind, both of your tackles, Penning, who's been a left tackle, Fuanga, who's been a right tackle, are both switching now, and he's saying it's muscle memory. So it's getting accustomed. So both are dealing with that right now. But similarly, you could also say, man, if Penning struggled on the left side, what's to say he wouldn't struggle on the right side as well? I just mentioned Micah Parsons. You play Dallas in week 2 on the road. If Trevor Penning is your starting right tackle, that means in week 2 of this year, Trevor Penning's blocking Micah Parsons. We feel good about that? You feel good? Everybody feel good? I'll feel good about that. Long way to go in this offseason. OTAs, first day of OTAs. And this is clearly something they're building, but it's critical. Like, your offensive line has got to improve if you want to keep Derek Carr upright and give yourself a chance to move the ball through the air and obviously in a new zone scheme, running the football when you were near the bottom of the league in rushing offense a year ago. So we could be super excited about the future and the prospects of Spencer Rattler. We could be all excited about skill talent with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed working together. Maybe seeing what a healthy Kendre Miller can do, Alvin Kamara in this offense with Clint Kubiak, and I'm with it. I'm with all that stuff. But none of it matters if your offensive line stinks. And that's just a massive, massive question as they move throughout this offseason. We're starting to get the pieces of the puzzle as they lay them out on the board right now to see how they might all start to blend and work together. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.